Live from Los Angeles, it's the Life Changes Show. With tonight's guests, cancer crushers Allyson, Phelan-Eagan, and Ethan Zahn. And musical guest, Brad Kahn. I am Mark Laisure, and now your host, the MC, the master of change, Filippo Voltaggio.
And here we are. We're laughing already, and it's a great way to start, especially since what we gonna be talking about isn't always a laughing matter. And interestingly enough, we have somebody in the studio, we're going to have somebody in the phone in a little bit, who have found ways to either, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say it, actually, because I'm going to wait and let them say it. But the point is that we're going to have some fun with a subject that's not fun. We're going to make it sexy. And when most people don't consider it sexy. And what we're talking about is cancer. And there's a way to deal with it that some people we've come to know have dealt with it, have beat it, have crushed it, have kicked it. And they're here to tell us what they did, how they did it. And one of the most important things is their state of mind. You know, it's interesting also that both of these two that we're going to have on, we already know who it is, Allyson and Ethan. But Allyson, you know, one can say, so what are you going to do when you're famous, or when you have all this attention, or when you have your own show or whatever? And so she's done it, and she's used her fame to bring awareness to something that's very important to her. Well, Ethan, when people say, what are you going to do with your money? If you won the lottery, what would you do? Well, Ethan won $1 million on Survivor Africa. And what did he do with his money? He started a foundation. He started an organization that helps children, et cetera, et cetera. And now he's using more of his fame for bringing awareness. So, you know, it's interesting how even I had to think about this myself. When I talk to my clients, what would you do if money were no object, blah, blah, blah. And people talk about the houses and talk about the careers and all that stuff. And here are two people who have used their fame and their money to help other people. So my hat's off to them. I can't wait to talk to both of them. And later on, we're going to have a musical guest who's doing his own way of all of this. Brad Kahn. With his music and with his interaction with the world and organizations as well. So we've got a show for you, and it starts it already started. We'll be back right after this. We're back. I'm Filippo Voltaggio. I'm sitting here with our co-host, Mark Laisure. And you know what, Mark? I thought for a second there, well, wait. With more fame and more millions of dollars, we would do more of this and much, much more. So we're kind of there, too. We're all there.
Well, you touched on multiple threads. You know, this is such an important topic, or topics, but raising awareness for what both of our guests are doing, not only having, once you hear their stories and what they've overcome, but what they're doing with that. I mean, those are individual topics, you know, just using fame, using your story, but then having overcome and persevered. It's an important show.
Absolutely. And actually, both of these people are sexy, and they're talking about something that hasn't been considered sexy, and they're actually using themselves as a way to say, hey, we're still not only alive, we're thriving, and we're still sexy. And so, you know, we don't have to be negative about whatever happens to us.
That's the big thing that comes across with both of them is, in fact, I'm looking at their pictures right now, and the smiles, the genuine bright smiles, to have attacked what they've attacked and to come through the other side that way. And I know there's so many that are struggling with this. In fact, we just learned of another story with another family related to us. So this is something that we need more of, is to be able to address it head on and be able to smile at it and persevere.
Well, I have to say that on the way to the show today, I was running a little late, and I have a brand new phone, so I was trying to get the phone to talk to my car, and so it turned on the radio, something I never do, actually in the car. And while I was trying to get the phone to talk to the car, the radio was playing a song, and it was my dad's song, who died of cancer. So Father's Day is coming up, and we're having the show, and this song comes on, which is the song we played at his funeral. So it's very near and dear to my heart. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. So with that, let's start with you, Missy. We've got Allyson Phelan-Eagan on the show, and here, okay, where do you start? I mean, TV personality, writer, speaker, former Miss World Canada runner-up, a dancer, model, actor, I mean, cheerleader. I mean, come on. I mean, at one point, I have to say this, at one point she's like, I wanted to go to the fame school. And then she does. I mean, anyway, I'll say more after we introduce her. Welcome to the show, Allyson Phelan-Eagan.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm having a great time already just listening to you.
Okay, so that's the thing. You seem like you were having a great time like minutes after you were born. It's like, oh, okay, I'm on this planet now. Now I want to do this, and this.
Let's have some fun. Yeah, exactly.
So when did you start your first little big thing?
My first little big thing. Jeez, well, that's a long time ago. I think when I started acting and modeling really young, but even before that, I was doing plays in the yard, organizing, getting all the kids together and putting on musicals. Even though I'm not a great singer, I still love to sing. And so I just, I love life. When I was little, I was always curious and adventurous and excited, and I loved meeting new people, and I still do. And so that has just never left. I love life. I love it.
You live it to the fullest.
To the fullest.
So,
and then some.
So you started singing and dancing and acting as in the yard.
Yes.
And then you kind of took that to the stage, and you started winning pageants.
Yes.
And interestingly enough, we were talking earlier, you went for pageants for the most part that actually had meaning. It wasn't just about the beauty thing, which obviously was a part of the other pageants too. But you wanted something with more substance and meaning.
Well, I didn't really have anything to do with it in the beginning because my mom came home one day and said, I entered you in the Miss Teen Vancouver pageant because I am Canadian. And I said, oh, okay. And I didn't really know that much about it. And I was 16 and I was a dancer. So I knew about dance. So my focus for the pageant was to, share my love, which was dance, and to be with a group of young women that cared about things, that had, that had passion for people and for helping the community and for building that and being a part of it. And we had a great time, and I just happened to win, but it wasn't like, oh, I have to win. It wasn't like knocking, other contestants off the stage to get there.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. You'd be surprised.
I wouldn't have expected that from you.
No, didn't do that. So, yeah, it was fun. We were just, like a sorority. It was really fun. I didn't even think about the, physicality of it. So... yeah.
Well, I'm sure being Canadian, I'm sure they approach their pageants a little bit different.
They do. They're much more down to earth and wholesome, dare I say, for the most part.
So speaking of down to earth and wholesome, and you wanted to be in and you auditioned for, was it the Dallas Cheerleaders?
No,
Or
the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders were like, that was it. They were the cheerleaders, and I remember watching them on TV, and I said, oh, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, but I lived in Vancouver. So I tried out for the BC Lions, which is CFL, Canadian Football League. And I got in. I was the youngest dancer, sports dancer, and that was another, sisterhood that I loved and enjoyed. And now I know much more about football than I was actually when I was a cheerleader, because we were worried about our routines. But, we had so much fun. It was great. Loved it.
And then you said, I'm coming to Hollywood.
Yeah, I wanted to go to Fame, because Fame was on back then. I'm like, I want to go to school like Fame, and I wanted to go to Juilliard, but that was a little bit out of our budget. So I auditioned for the American Academy, and I got a scholarship, and I came down here, and then I'm staying, because I loved it, the feel of the city. It's so vibrant and fun. And also I felt like I did stand out in Vancouver. I was raised in North Vancouver, and I was usually always overdressed, the loudest, organizing.
So you
I wanted
fit right in?
Yeah, even now. So when I came down here, there were so many other people that I identified with, and I was just, fascinated by this. Like, everybody had something that was different instead of blending. And I love Vancouver. It's just a little bit more conservative. Whereas, Los Angeles, New York, it's constant impact, input. So I would have to live in a big city, because I need that. I need to be fueled by all of these interesting characters.
And so even now, and I'm getting the sense throughout your whole life that you were different because you were different, not because you wanted to be different or you wanted to act different or stand out. You were just you, and you happen to be different. You happen to be the only one in the studio right now with glitter on her eyes.
That might be a good thing.
Yeah,
unless you guys are going to do like a Queen kind of show.
But probably the only person within a couple miles of here. Let me put it that way. So good for you.
Thank you. I do love glitter.
So am I right about that?
Yes, I remember my ex-boyfriend saying to me, we went skating, and with his friends. It was Christmas, and I had a bright pink little ski suit and a puffy hat and fun gloves, because it's like a costume. I like to costume. You might have guessed that by now. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, why can't you just blend in? And I said, well, why would I want to do that? Like, this is who I am. This is what I like. This is what feels good. I'm not going to change myself either way to make anybody else happy. It was uncomfortable for him, hence the breakout. But, you have to express yourself in a way that, makes you feel happy.
He could have put glitter on and blended
it with you.
I didn't. I had glitter then, but only for costumes. That didn't come till later, but exactly.
This conversation, of course, is leading up to, and then something happened.
Yeah.
And what that something is cancer. And so
right.
When we come back, we're going to talk about this, because underlying all of this fun and living life is somehow you found a way to do that while having cancer and kicking cancer.
Absolutely.
And so your way of approaching this whole situation, like you said, you even went to chemo with glitter on. All right, so let's save that, and you tell us how that even happens when we come back. We are back. Our guest is Allyson Phelan-Eagan, and in a few minutes, our other guest, Ethan Zahn, is going to join us. In the meantime, Allyson, we've already established, is this glitter girl, and I don't mean to. No, okay.
That's what my friends call me.
Oh, seriously?
Right.
Okay.
Seriously.
So, but in your personality and all of that as well, and then she got diagnosed with cancer. So, talk to us about that.
Okay, so before that, when you were going through my my bio, I did this show with my partner called Clubbin', which was like a magazine-style show, and it was on KTL KTLA for a couple seasons, and we would hop from club to club. And then we branched out, and after the run ended, we went and I would do a lot of hosting. So while I had cancer, I was still going to these events, these red carpets, and these food and wine shows, and I was just all over the place. So I started to feel like I had problems with eating. My stomach would hurt, and I stopped eating as much, but I didn't think it was a big deal. I had rectal bleeding. I know this is a lovely topic, by the way, and so I decided to go to the doctor, and then she said that there might be something wrong, and then I waited 7 months because it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't affecting me that much, except that I was losing weight without doing anything, which to me is a blessing. So when I finally did go in for my colonoscopy, I remember, looking back, and you're a little bit high because they put you under, and I remember saying to her, "So everything's good, right, Doc?" And she said, "Oh, I'm going to have you come into the office." But I didn't think anything about it. So I called, she called me on Friday afternoon, which was a couple days later, and she said, "I need you to come in." I said, "Okay, what's next week like?" And she said, "No, I need you to come in right now." And I said, "Right now?" It's Friday at like 2:30, and I just knew. And I said to her, straight up, "Am I dying?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Do I have cancer?" And she said, "You need to come in." So I went in, and she was lovely. We both kind of knew, I've had so much luck with my doctors. I've had the most amazing doctors, so compassionate, caring, and connected with all of them. And I remember sitting there. I was in a haze, and they were taking all my blood, and I just said to myself right then and there, like, okay, this is what God gave me, and I am going to run with it because there's a reason why I've been diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer. First of all, I didn't even think that, women got rectal cancer. I don't know why that is. I guess you could figure that out. But, I was in complete shock. I thought, I didn't get breast cancer. Like, why this? So there's not a lot of awareness, as much awareness. So I just feel like, I'm special in getting this unique cancer.
Well, good for you. Look at you. Well, of course, you're on the other side of all this now.
Yes.
So you really kicked it to the curb.
Yes.
And so the interesting thing is like I could just hear, if you still had that old boyfriend, I could just hear him say, "Why can't you just have cancer like everybody else and kind of just be quiet about it, especially this rectal thing?" But here you are saying, hey, I got rectal cancer and I'm a survivor, and you can too.
Yeah, you can too. And you can do it with a smile on your face. My friends
Ask
and I...
me how.
Yeah. Ask me how. Let me show you. No, my friends and I, we had so many jokes about this. I mean, that part of your body, there are endless monologues and jokes, and I always
Which
say,
is probably helpful.
Hugely helpful, because laughter, is therapy, and now when I hear a rubber glove, I'm like, ow, we have these ongoing jokes about ASS cancer. And, it's not funny, but...
Did you say ASS cancer?
Yeah.
And then she says, it's not funny, but...
It's a little fun. I mean, it's not... The cancer's not funny,
No.
but the topic can be
Embracing the
laughed
funny
at.
is probably the best thing
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah, we had to. I mean, I had to. One of my friends, the first thing that I said, when I told her, she said, "Well, didn't Farrah Fawcett have that?" And I said, "No, she had anal cancer. And can you please not talk about people that are dead?" It's not helping me.
And honestly, that's what's the difference? I really don't know.
Just where it is.
A
on the
couple
colon.
inches?
Yeah, a couple inches here
Okay.
or there. Yeah.
Wow, all right. And right, yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about people that live and
Yeah.
and
Inspire.
and thrive.
Yeah,
So-
and then through that, through my journey, I mean, let me tell you, the community stepped up in ways that I could have never imagined. I connected with so many amazing people, and this whole new world opened up. I mean, great people, just wonderful people, and so many random acts of kindness. And my relationship with God became so much closer, much more spiritual. I learned, about spiritual leaders that I didn't know about because I had to watch TV all the time. And so, I was on Oprah's channel a lot. And so I learned so much. So there was a reason why this happened. The reason for me was I needed to focus in, and I learned so much during that.
It sounds like you immediately, or at least very quickly, compared to at least some that I've heard, moved to that place of self-empowerment, deciding, well, there's a reason, and I think that has to make, or have made such a big difference, because, I've known others that have been diagnosed, and, they go into a different spiral, or give it different power, or immediately are in the doom and gloom, and then have to dig out of that. And so good for you, and that's part of, a big reason why we're on the show tonight, is to talk about that, because you are an inspiration that way. And I hope, any of the listeners out there that have, it themselves or people in their family can really kind of help, them or their family snap out of it and really own that empowered place. It makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, my doctor told me that there's no doubt in his mind that I would make it through because of my attitude. He said that's, it's
literally come out and said that, your attitude.
Yeah, your attitude will save you. Like, you are, determined to make it through, and I was. And, how I looked at it, I'm like, okay, let's just do this. Let's get this done. What do we need to do?
Mark's point is so well taken, and there sometimes people have reasons, and the reasons they have are negative. Like, I know why I'm being punished for this, or and that's worse, right?
Way worse.
Way worse.
Well, nobody gets cancer because they're being punished. That's like ridiculous. But I also think that, if you don't have the tools, if you don't have positive people around you, if you're already in a bad place, it's catastrophic news, let me tell you. I mean, you're facing the Grim Reaper. It's like you against death. I mean, it's big. But it's not going to help you to, entertain dark thoughts. It's just going to make it worse. And that's with anything.
I'm just going to say, yes, anything.
Anything.
Losing a job, losing a family member, losing money, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you've already said, without saying, these are the things you want to do. And so let's just list them as if these are the things you want to do from someone who has done it. Because so many people get advice from doctors who haven't necessarily done it, but they've seen the process. So, and other, I'm not saying that the doctors don't know. I'm saying that you've done it. What did you done?
What did I done? Well, first of all, you have to get information and educate yourself. Talk to doctors, interview doctors. You have to be your own advocate for your health.
Taking control yourself.
Taking control and not just nodding and, saying yes to everything. If something's not feeling comfortable or you don't have a right doctor, you have the power to change that. So you really need to be on top of that. And then once you have that down, and I really, going to the internet can be a really scary place. So just keep in mind that everything that you read on the internet is, not true. Because when I went there in the beginning, I was horrified. I was terrified. And, most of it, cancer is so, personalized that you cannot take that information and apply it to yourself. You have to have a one-on-one experience with your doctor. And then I think it's really important to surround yourself with a team of positive people and, reach out to your support group. And then another really, really big thing is submitting to the process, which I had a hard time doing in the beginning because I like to be the one who helps and I like to be the one who takes care of everything. And I like to be, I want to be the one that you call. So now I'm in the other position, and I was not going to let it take me down. And unfortunately, after my first chemo treatment, my second, I ended up in the hospital, and I had toxicity, and I was really sick. And one of my really close friends, knowing me and my personality, said, Allyson, you have got to submit to the process. You've got to allow this to help you heal. And it was just one of those moments, you know, where I just went, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right, because I was fighting it, but not, you know, to benefit me. So after that, something happened. I mean, my doctor and I did change oncologists, but my doctor and I discussed it, and, you know, he made my cocktail, that's what they call your chemo cocktail, a little bit lower, so I wasn't taking like the full 100%. And he said that was fine, and I could manage it much better for the rest of my chemo sessions. So submitting was a huge, big deal for me. It was hard to do, and asking for help, it was really, really hard for me to do. And I had 2 little children, 4 and 6, and I did everything for them, and now it's hard for me to get up. So, you know, really submitting, and then read positive things, watch positive movies, like input, listen to these spiritual leaders, go to TED Talks, you know, meet people like Ethan Zahn, and speaking of, talk about like an amazing person, like in every way. You know.
You are a good host because you're anticipating everything that I'm. You totally are.
Did I know?